Good morning and welcome back to Morning Express, our lifestyle segment today. We're focusing on relationships and social media. In studio, I have three guests with me. Eric Omondi, who's a talent manager. We also have Chris Hart, you know him. He's always here with us every Wednesday, a relationship expert. Thank you for coming. And of course, the lovely Joy Chelagat, who's a social media commentator, head of social media here at Standard Group as well. Thank you all for joining us. Chris, I'll begin with you. Should relationships be on social media? Should we be having that conversation with the rest of the world about our love and our likes and our crushes?
You know, I don't know about the word should. I think it's inevitable. You know, if social media exists, people will do it. I think what's got to change is the way people think about what they're doing. I mean, for example, it's important to focus on the person you're actually with and not actually spend lots and lots of time on social media. I mean, think about it. How annoyed would you be if your better half went out for a drink and left you alone in the evening? You'd feel that was wrong. But if they sit there instead on Facebook all evening, well, they're doing something very bad for the relationship. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So what's got to change is the rules, if you like, the way people use social media.
Okay. What do you think, Eric?
I couldn't agree more. You caught me off guard.
Are you thinking about something else, Eric?
Well, not necessarily. I think social media helps most couples become very bold, whereas they would not have the guts to say something face to face. Under a computer, they would be able to say something like, I like you, I want you, and whatnot. So it becomes very difficult for relationships.
I'm talking about social media, not in as far as WhatsApp perhaps was concerned, but said like Twitter. Would you tweet?
Absolutely. You could DM somebody and said, you look very nice, I like your hips. But you would not talk about it.
Joy, wait, yes,
my friend.
Block him.
That's creepy, man. How do you do that? No.
Okay, maybe all the time. They wouldn't start by saying, hello, how are you?
No, but it's creepy, man. No.
Later, after chatting, you know, like friends, of course, for them to be able to DM your friends, okay? You know, these red alert
follow
friends.
them back, but I mean, let me tell you something. It's from a lady's perspective, social media, whatever aside, I think when a guy hits on you on social media and basically you don't know this guy, the first thing you think is, oh my God, creep, you know?
Yes.
Because I don't know you. But you know, the thing is, in as much as I may be your friend, I really don't know who you are. I friended you, yes, maybe because we shared 56 or 70 friends, but I really don't know who you are. So we may chat, you know, about the weather, about this new Sauti Sol video, about this, and we'll share views, but it's false intimacy. So I wouldn't feel very comfortable to the extent where, you know, you're a stranger and you're hitting no, unless you're actually a stranger, to be very honest. You're a stranger, so I wouldn't want to get intimate with a stranger because, I mean, whoa, man.
I mean, that's one of the biggest problems with social media, isn't it? We feel an intimacy with the people we're talking to, which is not there. And you have to ask yourself the question, would I say this to you face to face? And if the answer is no, then don't say it on social media either. Is that not right?
I agree completely.
Do relationships that begin on social media, do they have that longevity in terms of, you know, can they get to marriage?
Statistically, the number that end in marriage is very small. 1%. More or less globally, a little higher in America perhaps, but in terms of comparing it to other ways of meeting and dating, it's very, very low indeed. And it's worth saying that in general, relationships that start on social media are very unstable. So it's a poor strategy for finding a spouse, for example, so go looking for them online.
Let's talk about those who are in relationships. Say, Eric, you're my boyfriend. How much of us should be on social media?
I think that is subject to discussion.
So couples should talk about it?
I think they should talk about it because every time I go through, say, Facebook, you see a lot of overexposure. Somebody, either from indecent dressing or just saying too much about where you are, what you're doing. So I think couples should sit down and you know, decide what's comfortable to, you know, let out there and what's not.
I mean, I think one of the complications is that we used to keep various parts of our social life separately. I would discuss different things at work, with my friends, with my spouse. Now they've all got muddied up. Now I'm tempted to say things to my friends on social media that I don't really want my wife to hear. Less straight away. Even less my boss. So people should think really seriously about what they put on social media and remember who's watching. People deliberately go and look for you on social media. Your boss will, you know, check you out. So be very careful.
And I want to agree with Chris. You know, the structure with which most of these social media sites were made, aside from Google, I think Google Plus is one that actually got it right, because Google Plus understood that we have circles. Yes, you're all my friends, you're all my contacts, but there's co-workers, so there's stuff I might not want my co-workers to see. Then there's my close family and friends and the stuff. But at the end of the day, the thing is, when you put too much of your relationship on social media, then there's also vulnerability. Because not everyone, let's just be honest, not everyone is super happy when they see that you're in a happy relationship. And then again, not everyone really gets where you guys are coming from. Some friends, some schoolmates of mine got engaged recently. They had all these photos and they shared like 5 paragraphs about their love story. And I happened to meet up with other guys, and guys were saying some not so kind things, you know. And I was thinking, wait a minute, you guys shared it because you're extremely excited about this, you know, engagement and where your relationship is going. But you have to realize not everyone who sees that shares that excitement. And by opening up that, you're actually opening up your relationship to other vulnerabilities as well. So I think couples need to really gauge, and as Eric said, have that discussion about what exactly needs to go out there and what does this open us up to.
Chris, what would you advise a couple?
Oh, I think what basically what's been said is right, but you know, let's be honest, it doesn't happen.
True.
You know, the real problem is
Get very excited.
Oh, absolutely. And I tell you where the real problem lies. It's that the whole of social media is almost aimed at teenagers. And if you think about the attitude we have when we're teens, we're very self-focused, and the social media encourages this sort of self-focus. We are constantly throwing stuff out about us as if we're the only people in the world. Now, you can imagine that when you've got that mindset, you don't think very much about what the other people are reacting, you know, how they're reacting to it. It's a very unpleasant sort of place to be. You're not thinking about, I'm putting this out for you. You're saying, I'm putting this out for me. Not a good place.
Yeah. The other day I was watching a program, and I've had this with teenagers talking about, oh, we're now social media official. You know, that you've been dating somebody, but since it's not on social media, there's the social media official part of the relationship. It's like a stage you get to, and it's out there. Why is there, for those who do it, that need to tell us and the world about who they're with?
I feel it's very mature, if you ask me. I don't think you need to announce to anybody that you're in a relationship with somebody. A relationship is about 2 people. So once you are in tandem about rules that you've set and agree upon, I don't think you should put it out there that, hey, Jane is now friends, or rather in a relationship with Paul. It's stupid. Those are my sentiments. I wouldn't.
For some, they'd say it would ward off threats to the relationship. I disagree. Some would argue that the minute I see Sophia is now in a relationship with Michael.
I know.
When Eric says that, like, oh,
really?
Came too late.
I think, you know, there's this song, those guys said that company comperos happy. That is, I think, at the end of the day, whether someone wants to, it's like this whole marriage bill thing. If someone wants to have more than one, whether there's a law there or not, they will. So I think if someone wants to be unfaithful, or someone wants to entertain men who flirt with them, whether or not it says in a relationship with so-and-so, they'll still do it. So I think what really comes down to it at the end of the day is where those 2 people are. Because people will say, oh, you know, you didn't put you in a relationship with so-and-so, but I mean, is it really the letter of the law or the spirit of the law? So I think that's what people really need to think about.
And those who insist that their partner put it out there, is it insecurities? What is it about that person who's saying, we're dating, babe, you know, and I'm upset? You don't say we're in a relationship.
It's high school again, isn't it? You know, it's what people do in school. In school, it really matters that everybody knows you're in a relationship. When you get to a wiser age, you don't worry about what other people think. You focus on the pair of you. So I think that's the biggest danger, I think, with the social media, is it takes us back to these, frankly, rather primitive ideas that we have when we're young. You know, the 15-year-old really passionately needs everybody to know, I've got a girlfriend, you know. You don't feel like that when you're older.
Yeah, because I've seen people take me through their emotional relationship turmoil just by following them. So you know, okay, so now Eric is with, oh, so now Eric, you know, That I find annoying because I'm like, that's your business. So you break up, I know, because the pictures will change, and now we are cooking with so and so. We're going for this trip together. Do you find that a lot in our social media?
It is, and not only that, people are very intimate about very intimate stuff.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Like, oh my God, my mother is just about to die. Like, I'm sitting next to her. I'm scared. Pray for me. And you're reading that like 2 a.m. You don't know how to respond to that person. You don't know whether it's and we find it often, more often than not, people like that status. I don't know, like to mean we are condoling with you. So I wouldn't advise that people put a lot of very intimate stuff. Like, oh, we had our first kiss. It's nice. Videos. It's weird. It's very weird. I just read an article when I was, when I got here, and a man was reported to have an asthma attack because after breaking up with his girlfriend, he saw the girlfriend had friend requested about 18 men, and his asthma kicked in, and he was rushed to the hospital. I was like, wow, you should have probably unfriended her altogether. But I am a firm believer in keeping a lot of some of the things that are intimate to yourself. E.g., if you even pictures of babies, I find that very unbecoming. Like, oh, look at her, oh my God, she's so sweet, and the kid is like 3 hours old. Like, you don't want to expose her to all of that. And people are like, oh my God, is it a boy or a girl? Look at the nose, it looks like the daddy's. Just have some privacy to yourself.
Pictures. Let's talk about pictures on social media. Putting them out, you brought it up. Is it bad? And how far do you go with the pictures you post? Even on Instagram, because that's social media in a sense.
Well, I think that it's very, I understand why people do it. You want to share your life. In this kind of life, most of us these days, you come to the office at 7, you leave at very late at night. So where you get to connect with your friends and share things with them is more or less on social media.
But on your relationship, the man, woman, yes.
So now, even when it comes to relationship stuff, people want to share all these pictures. But I feel that it's very important. My mom says that only share it when you're very sure where you are in that relationship. Because what you end up doing is having like pictures of you and 10 different people. And then when you're getting married, my mom was saying, when you're getting married, one of these days someone will come with a whole album. This one.
Yes. What happened to this one? And this one? Done.
Yes, because digital media never forgets. So I think people should, and fine, it's good to share maybe when you get into a very serious stage, share it, but also don't share very intimate photos. We don't want to see you guys kissing and doing all that. Save us. That's for you guys. Get a room and keep that there. Don't share with the rest of us. I think it's very important that a couple sets those boundaries, because it also shows that you respect the people that you friend, because you don't want them to get too much into your business. I know we get really, like what you're saying, you feel like you're annoying. Why are you telling me everything? So I think I completely agree with you. There needs to be some boundaries, and every couple needs to decide that, this is how far we're going to go, and this is what we need to share, because we need to protect what we have, because it's something worthwhile and we love it.
Okay, profile pictures that have kids, and you alluded to that, or the wife and the kids, it's really for a professional, whatever industry you're in, to have that?
Yeah, very difficult. It's this problem of different congregations amongst your friends, friends. You want to show one profile picture to your boss, very sober and very proper. You want to show another one to your girlfriend, and yet a third to people you don't really know very well. You've got to be really thoughtful about what you're doing. The big problem is, I think, that the whole force behind social media is to throw it all out as much as possible. Facebook, Twitter, they want as much about us as possible, don't they? And so they construct the whole thing so that we are tempted more and more to put more and more stuff out there. We need to think what they want and what we want, and separate the two. We, I think, as individuals, should be much more discreet. We should think about having 5 friends, 10 friends, instead of 5,000 friends, But that's the way it's constructed, isn't it? We don't think like that.
The pictures, the profile pictures, for those in relationships, so I'm on my profile picture with my man. Or my husband and the kids.
I wouldn't do that. I like to think of the social media as a marketplace, like a very busy market on Wednesday, where there are goats, chicken, cows. You don't want to strip naked and swim in front of all those things. And you don't introduce everybody, your children to everybody you've never met. Like, oh, hi, strangers, hi, this is Jen. Jen, say to all those people. You don't want to do that. So I would keep my family to myself. I wouldn't even let a picture of my child, if I had one, out there. I don't think that's very comfortable with me.
Yeah?
No, I would not.
Joy?
Especially 5,922 people know.
Yeah.
And I don't know 5,000 people. Who knows 5,000 people?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's always...
You know, that's a very nice point he's making. Think of it as a marketplace, and you're getting a much better idea of what it really is. And if you look at the way, for example, Facebook is evolving, it's becoming more commercialized, isn't it? More and more people are using it for commercial purposes. And I think as that develops, people will use it less and less for private purposes, and they'll find other routes. And that would be a very healthy development, I think.
Okay, so is there no place for a mature relationship, are we saying, on social media? Or if there's a place, what is it?
I think there is inevitably a place.
Because I've had a lot of condemnation. Said, no. So is there no place? Are we now telling our viewers, yeah, if you're...
In a perfect world,
Yeah.
we would conduct our intimate relationships in privacy, and we would do it face to face, you know, because there's a huge difference between getting to know somebody online and getting to know them in person. And I think a lot of people don't really understand that. You feel very close to somebody and they're living in San Francisco, you know. You don't really know them. You don't really know them at all. They could be con merchants, let alone anything else. But even if they are perfectly genuine, you still don't know them. Now, I think personal relationships are different from that. And so, from my mind, you should conduct them personally. And I think that's one of the reasons why the statistics show that so few people actually marry as a result of meeting on Facebook. You don't meet the right people, you don't get to know them in the right way.
Before the two of you weigh in, let's talk to Calvin, who's calling us. Calvin, good morning.
Morning.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Hi.
Say hi back.
Hello, Calvin.
Go ahead, Calvin.
I must say that this is a very important talk that you're having because I have a bad experience on social media. My marriage was broken because of social media. You have this situation whereby I buy a new dress, take a picture, post on social media, later I know that friends were jealous of the relationship, things are going well. People started talking ill about that, and I couldn't get back up from my friends. Same way to get back from myself. So it's something very important, and they are living social media now.
All right. Thank you, Calvin. And I understand we also have Maggie. Maggie, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead with your contribution.
I'm calling from Limuru.
All right.
My contribution is about a boyfriend that I have for the past 3 years. It's a long distance, and we are both on social media on Facebook. What I wonder is he never comments anything about my posts, my photos, or anything else. But about my friends, he comments. So I don't know. Please help.
So he never comments on your... Sorry about that. He never comments on your posts, Maggie, you're saying, but he'll comment on your friends? Do we still have Maggie? I think that's what I figured. Well, thanks for calling. And I think, Calvin, the line was also not very clear, but I think he was talking about the importance of this conversation, as far as relationships are concerned. Let's deal with the question we're talking about before we get to Maggie's concern. And is there no place for a relationship on social media, a mature relationship, one that you hope will materialize into, say, marriage?
I would be of the opinion that if I was dating somebody, we shouldn't be friends on social media. I don't think it's necessary.
Really?
I'd rather meet your friends personally, because I don't want a scenario where I would stringently go through your profile to suss you out, and check pictures of you in 2012 or who you were swimming with in 2011. So I'd prefer that I meet your friends like personally, and we build it from there. I would actually not advocate to be your friends on Instagram, Facebook, and then I'm dating you at the same time. I think it's a bit bizarre. It's too much.
Okay. To what Maggie is saying, you have this man who doesn't comment, I guess that's what she said, on your post, does it to your friends?
I think she said, if I heard her correctly, I think she said the guy doesn't put pictures of her, yet he posts on, he comments on her pictures and whatnot.
Interesting. What do you think about that?
Well, it might just be their different styles of using the social media. He might not know how to put pictures up, for example, or he just doesn't like doing it, or he's got a lousy internet connection, so he can make a comment, but trying to upload a photograph might be a challenge.
Well, he's probably very private. He doesn't want the world to see the girlfriend.
So if she wants it, should she have that conversation with him and tell him, babe, I want is all out. Post a little pictures, 1 or 2, even if it's passport size.
Well, that too. Well, that too. If it makes her happy, then she should have that conversation with him. But I think having said that, he actually goes and comments on her posts. I think there's no bad blood. There's no bad faith. I think he's just an easy guy who just doesn't want to expose his private life on social media. But it would help if she asked him.
If she asked him. I think, as you said, conversation at the beginning together so everyone is comfortable. Our time is up, but I want to bring in an aspect which I think then social media would maybe play a role in or not. Long-distance relationship. And this is all you have. So are we saying it will only be emails, those private ones, or can we open it up on the
social media can be very helpful in long-distance relationships that are already established. I know lots of people, for example, somebody's studying abroad and they're tweeting all the time, because it's just very convenient. That works for them, I'm sure. On the other hand, I think trying to start relationships via social media or continue relationships where you don't really know the person, I think that's a complete waste of time.
Okay. And your final thoughts as well on social media?
Me?
Yes, and relationships.
I think the big problem is this one of not understanding, not having it clear in your mind that you are not really intimate with these people, and you shouldn't treat them as if you are. They are a marketplace. It's like putting up a banner in a marketplace. Do that if that's what you want, but don't have the sort of relationship with your friends that you would have with people you meet every day. Think of them completely differently.
Right, Eric?
Yeah, I just wanted to sum it up the same way. You can't stand on top of Hilton and yell out all your problems or what's happening in life. Like, oh yeah, I'm getting married on Saturday. Hi. Cops are probably going to take you down and take you to Central Police Station. So don't do it on social media as well.
Okay. And long distance relationship, it's okay?
You can email and send.
Okay, so email, not social media. Finally, Joy.
Well, social media is immoral. It's just immoral. It's not bad. It's not good. It all depends on how you use it and understanding the tool itself. Before social media, there were letters, and guys used to send letters back and forth. The sweet little perfumed ones with
the deads at the bottom.
Yes, and when phones came in, it became texts and calls, and now with social, it's become really big. So I think social media is immoral. We're not condemning it, but we're just saying that in our society, it's just been used a little too much on the negative. Yes. So I think in terms of long distance relationships, I know people who have maintained the relationship for like up to 2 years. Just sending photos to each other, talking to each other, doing that, it really does help because it gives you that kind of connection. But I think it comes back down to it is immoral, it is how you use it that defines how it will either build or destroy your relationships.
Well put, thank you. Joy Chelagat, Chris Hart, Eric Omondi, we appreciate you for being with us today. Thank you for making time for us on Morning Express. And we just want to